Most people believe power comes from speaking louder, reacting faster, and proving themselves in every argument. They believe if someone disrespects them, they must immediately respond. If someone criticizes them, they must defend themselves. If someone provokes them, they must fight back. But this belief is exactly what keeps them powerless. Because the moment someone can control your reaction, they control you. Niccolò Machiavelli understood a brutal truth about human psychology that most people never realize. Power does not always come from confrontation. Sometimes, the greatest form of dominance is silence. When you respond to every insult, every message, every provocation, you are giving people exactly what they want: your attention. And attention is the most valuable psychological currency that exists. Think about it carefully. Why do people start arguments online? Why do critics attack successful people? Why do manipulators provoke emotional reactions? It is not because they want truth. It is because they want control over your emotions. And the easiest way to control someone is to make them react. The moment you react emotionally, your opponent has already won the psychological game. But when you ignore someone, something strange begins to happen inside their mind. Human beings are wired to seek validation. We constantly look for signs that we matter to others. We look for reactions, approval, recognition. When we speak, we expect some form of response. It could be agreement. It could be disagreement. It could even be anger. But the one thing people cannot tolerate is silence. Silence creates uncertainty, and uncertainty makes the human brain uncomfortable. When someone says something provocative and receives no reaction, their mind begins searching for answers. They start wondering what went wrong. They replay the moment again and again. Did they offend you? Did you lose respect for them? Are they no longer important enough to deserve? There is a hidden rule that silently governs human behavior, a rule so powerful that it shapes respect, attraction, influence, and authority. Yet most people break this rule every single day without realizing it. The rule is simple. What is easily available becomes worthless, and what is scarce becomes valuable. In the modern world, attention has become one of the cheapest resources in existence. Everyone is constantly talking, explaining, replying, defending, arguing, posting, reacting. Messages are answered instantly. Opinions are shared endlessly. People rush to prove themselves at every opportunity. But the more attention people give away freely, the less value it holds. Imagine walking into a room where one person is constantly talking to everyone, laughing loudly, replying to every comment, trying to please every person around them. They are available to anyone who wants their time. Their attention is unlimited. Now imagine another person in the same room. Quiet, observant, selective with their words. They speak rarely, but when they do, people listen. They do not rush to respond. They do not chase conversations. Their attention is limited. Without realizing it, people begin gravitating toward the second person. Why? Because scarcity creates curiosity, and curiosity creates value. Machiavelli understood this principle long before the modern world drowned itself in noise. In his view, power was not simply about strength or aggression. Power was also about perception, and perception is shaped by what people cannot easily obtain. When you give everyone unlimited access to your attention, you unconsciously lower your perceived importance. You signal that your time is abundant, that your focus is easily available, that anyone can have a piece of your energy whenever they want it. But when your attention becomes selective, something fascinating happens in the minds of others. They begin to notice you more. Your silence becomes noticeable. Your absence. There is a dangerous weakness hidden inside most people, a weakness that quietly destroys their power in conversations, relationships, workplaces, and conflicts. It is not a lack of intelligence. It is not a lack of strength. It is something far more subtle. It is the inability to control their emotions. Most people believe that emotions are natural and should always be expressed immediately. If someone insults them, they react with anger. If someone criticizes them, they react with defense. If someone disrespects them, they react with confrontation. These reactions feel natural. They feel justified. They feel honest. But in the world of power, reacting emotionally is often the fastest way to lose control of a situation. Niccolò Machiavelli understood a harsh truth about human behavior. People who cannot control their emotions become easy to control. When someone else can predict exactly how you will react, they gain a silent advantage over you. Imagine someone insulting you in public. The moment your face tightens, your voice rises, and your emotions explode, something very important has already happened. The other person has successfully triggered you. They pushed a button, and you responded exactly as they expected. Now they know something about you. They know your emotional weakness. They know how to provoke you again. And once a person discovers the emotional triggers that control you, they can repeat the same strategy again and again. This is why Machiavelli believed that the most powerful individuals develop emotional discipline long before they attempt to control others. Emotional discipline means something simple but extremely difficult. You choose your reaction instead of allowing others to choose it for you. When someone tries to provoke you and you remain calm, the psychological balance of the situation changes immediately. Instead of you struggling to defend yourself, the other person begins struggling to break your composure. Ignoring people can be powerful, but only when it is used with precision. When most people hear the idea of ignoring others, they imagine something careless or passive, as if silence means weakness or avoidance. But Machiavelli never admired weakness. His philosophy was built on strategy, calculation, and control. To ignore someone strategically is not the same as withdrawing from the world. It is the deliberate decision to choose where your energy goes and where it does not. This is where most people fail. They either react to everything or ignore everything. Both extremes are dangerous. A person who reacts to every criticism becomes predictable and easy to manipulate. But a person who ignores everything risks appearing indifferent, disconnected, or powerless. Strategic ignoring sits between these extremes. It is the art of deciding who deserves your attention and who does not. Because attention, once again, is power. Imagine a battlefield where a general responds to every minor distraction. A small noise on the left, a minor movement on the right, a distant rumor behind him. If he turns his army toward every tiny disturbance, he will lose focus on the true enemy. The same principle applies in everyday life. Not every voice deserves a response. Not every insult deserves recognition. Not every challenge deserves engagement. But knowing when to respond and when to remain silent requires awareness. Machiavelli believed that intelligent leaders carefully observe the intentions behind people's behavior. When someone speaks to you, the words themselves are often less important than the motive behind them. Some people criticize because they seek attention. Some argue because they enjoy conflict. Some provoke because they want to control your emotions. Some attempt to embarrass you because they want to elevate themselves. In each of these situations, responding gives them exactly what they were hoping for. Your reaction becomes their reward. Strategic. There is a quiet fear that lives inside every human mind, a fear that rarely gets spoken about, but influences behavior more than pride, anger, or even ambition. It is the fear of becoming invisible. People often say they hate criticism, rejection, or confrontation. But psychologically, those experiences are still forms of recognition. When someone criticizes you, they are still acknowledging your presence. When someone argues with you, they are still investing energy into you. But being ignored is different. Being ignored sends a much colder message. It suggests that your words do not matter. Your presence does not matter. Your influence does not exist. And for the human mind, that realization is deeply uncomfortable. Machiavelli understood something ruthless about this psychological weakness. People are not only motivated by power or success, they are also driven by the need to feel significant. Every conversation, every opinion, every argument often carries an invisible desire underneath it, the desire to be noticed. When someone shares an opinion, they expect a reaction. When someone criticizes you, they expect a defense. When someone challenges you, they expect engagement. That expectation creates a silent agreement between people. I acknowledge you, and you acknowledge me. Ignoring someone breaks that agreement completely. And the moment that agreement breaks, something unsettling begins happening in the other person's mind. They start searching for meaning. Why were they ignored? Was it intentional? Did they say something wrong? Did they lose your respect? Did they lose their importance? The human brain struggles with unanswered questions. Silence forces the mind to fill the gap with assumptions, and those assumptions often become worse than reality. When someone is ignored, their mind begins constructing possibilities. Maybe you think they are insignificant. Maybe you consider them irrelevant. Maybe you simply do not care enough to are.